Hey, what's up YouTube? Just making another video. I know it's been a while since I've been on here and a lot has changed, including the length of my hair. So just wanted to touch back with you guys and give you a 4-month update as we have hit April in 2019 and I started this channel in December of 2018. And the point all along has been to figure out whether or not the Fujifilm X-T1 is a high enough quality camera at this point to be used for all your needs in 2019. So if you haven't seen any of those videos, go back and check them out. It'll let you know what I've been doing and how I've been testing the camera. And I've definitely been putting it through the paces. I just put up a video that was not great, but it was all manual focused and handheld of my nephew's football game last Saturday. That was mostly for my family. And I was off on the focus quite a bit in a number of those scenes. It's really hard using that little teeny screen on the back to get tack sharp focus when you're shooting video. So I'll touch on that a little bit in this video. But what we're here to talk about today is how is the camera working out for me? Am I still enjoying it? Is it still providing me with all of the quality that I need to be able to create the videos and the images that I want to create? So let's just start it off. I got a list here. Let's talk about the image quality. It's still absolutely top-notch. It was top-notch in 2014 and it continues to be today. It is one amazing little camera. So let's just take a look at the camera itself. It is such a small little compact thing for being a professional quality camera. Most of you know that I am used to using a Nikon D800, which makes this thing look like a toy as far as size goes. This is big compared to a pocket camera, but for a mirrorless camera, it is a great little size. It's perfect for me. It's perfect for what I do. So I'm absolutely loving it. So as I was saying, the image quality is still absolutely top-notch. The color science is why people buy these cameras, just flat out. I mean, the form factor, the appeal, the fun of use, all of those things factor in. But in reality, in the end of the day, if it didn't have the color science that it has, Fuji would not have made the inroads into the photography world that they did, as far as digital photography goes. Of course, they have that film history, which is what they're building upon with their color science. And it's just amazing to use. It's really, really enjoyable. So the frames per second on it are perfect for just about anything you want to do. It's not the fastest in the world, but it's definitely not the slowest. You get about 8 frames per second. For most of you, if you're out shooting your kids playing sports, if you're out shooting birds, out shooting wildlife, that's going to be plenty for you to catch the shot. You don't need the 30 frames per second that you can get out of an X-T3, but hey, if you can afford it and you want to go that route because of the frames per second, hey, more power to you. There's no reason not to. And having that super fast burst is a really nice way to catch those glimpse of moments, just get that perfect aspect. But as far as this camera goes, 8 frames per second, I don't feel like I've been missing any shots because of the speed of the camera. So let's see, lens options for these cameras are growing like crazy. I still use this 18 to 55 2 to f4 lens. It's just their kit lens. It's a nice little compact lens that's at its longest length. It's not heavy. It's very well balanced on this camera, and it shoots wonderful pictures. It's very, very crystal clear. It's very sharp. The color rendition is very, very nice. That being said, I have grown really partial to the Rokinon and the Samyang lenses. I have the 12 f2 Rokinon and the 85 f1.4 Samyang, and both of them have just been phenomenal. The Samyang has been tack sharp. I've been very, very surprised by it, unless I go to 1.4. If I stay at 2 or higher, it is tack sharp. It's beautiful. It really does compete with the Fuji glass. It does have a little bit of a tinge of color that it adds to the picture. kind of in the green areas, but to me it's a beautiful color rendition that it provides. It's a little different than the Fujifilm lenses, but I love it. So I would highly recommend taking a look at those, especially when you are considering price. Buying a lens, an 85 f1.4 at $269 or $249 it's phenomenal pricing. That being said, there's some other options coming out now too. So there's a brand out there, starts with a V. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but they just are putting out right now an 85 f1.8, I believe. It might be an f1.4, but I think it's an f1.8 that has autofocus. So they have reverse engineered Fuji's autofocus system. It doesn't look like they're going to get sued for doing so. It looks like Fuji's fine with them putting that out there as long as they reverse engineered it themselves. And that looks like a very interesting lens. It's going to be around $369. So it would add about $100 to the cost of the Samyang lens, but it would provide that autofocus if that's what you prefer. I am probably going to pick one of those lenses up here right away in order to review it and compare it to the Samyang and see if the extra $100 is worth it, see if that autofocus is accurate. From the reviews I've seen, it looks like it is. So now as far as speed lights go, there is also a growing number of speed lights being made for the Fujinon, and it looks like right now the very best option that you can possibly buy for the money is the Godox systems, and I do not have one, but I'm really excited to get one of those as well. Looks like you can pick up a good speed light and a on-camera controller for it, all from Godox, that will handle TTL and HSS, which is high-speed shutter shooting, shoots up to 8,000th of a second, which is pretty incredible. Looks like it'll handle both those just fine, and you can pick that combination up for about $150, which is ridiculously cheap. Look at the equivalent flash from Fuji themselves, and it's going to cost you right around $400 to $500 just for the flash, no on-camera controller. So the Godox systems look like they're going to be great, and I will be testing those out in the future. Now let's talk about the low light performance of this camera. You know, low light is one of the things that I shoot a lot. I shoot a lot of concert photography, and I shoot a lot of street photography, and low light is very important to me, as it is to many of you. This camera does great. It does a good job. Very usable up to 3200. 6400 gets a little bit muddy, a little bit of noise in there, but not bad, still usable, especially if you're shooting in black and white, then it's pretty amazing. It just looks very much like film grain, which is kind of the look that I love when you're shooting black and white, so that works out very nicely. So the low light is good. It's not off the charts amazing like you would see with some of the cameras that have come out new. It just doesn't keep up with the newer technology, which makes sense. The chips are getting better and the processors are getting better. So if you need that super crazy low light, you're probably going to have to spend a little bit of extra money and buy a higher end camera, or not higher end, but newer version of this camera. And if you really want the low light king, you're going to have to go to Sony and pick up one of those 7S's. The 7S II is a crazy low light king, so that would probably be the way to go. Now, I have not played with those, so that's just based on their low light performance, not based on any other quality of the camera. As far as the film style settings, they are phenomenal straight out of the camera. They require very little editing to get the look that you are trying to achieve. They're just beautiful, and that partially that's because of what I mentioned earlier, which is that Fujifilm was a film manufacturer, so they have all the experience making the film for the film cameras and producing those special looks. Now all they're doing is making algorithms to digitally match what they were doing analog-wise, and that's pretty cool. That's one of the reasons why it's so good. Let's talk about the video. So it's only a 1080p. You can't get 4K out of this camera. You'd have to go to the X-T2 to be able to do 4K, or the X-T20. And so that is not too big a deal, because most of the time 1080p is going to be plenty for YouTube unless you got a really high-end channel and you got a lot of followers, which I don't. So 4K would be nice, and it's something that I'm going to get in the future, but I'm going to wait for those prices to come down a little bit. It just, the big issue with shooting video with the X-T1 versus any of the newer bodies is the autofocus during video. The autofocus just lags behind compared to the newer cameras. It's not as accurate. You can't trust that it's actually got you in focus, and you can't see your screen because there is no flippy screen, which brings me to my next point. Talk about weaving my way through the conversation. So my next point is that there is, as far as I can figure out so far, and I've been working on this for 4 months trying to figure it out, very frustrated, there is no HDMI output to live view in shooting video. So in other words, you can't run an HDMI cable from this to an HDMI monitor, external monitor, and see what you're shooting while you're shooting it. Now if you want to review your video or your photographs, you certainly can through the HDMI, but there's no live view. I have not been able to figure out a way to make that work. If somebody out there knows a way to make that work, please let me know, because this one thing is stopping me from doing something that would make me keep this camera indefinitely, which is purchasing a 5-inch to a 7-inch off-camera monitor that I can mount to the top of the camera or to the side, facing me while I'm shooting myself, so I can see that it's actually tracking me or that it's in focus, not just hoping that it catches the shot, which is not a good thing when you're dealing with the X-T1, unfortunately. So if I could figure out how to use an external monitor on this while I'm shooting in live view, that would be a game changer for me. I would fall in love with this camera, every aspect of it all over again. And the fact that it does not have a flippy screen that flips around means you can't even use a little 3-inch display to make sure that you're at least framed properly while you're shooting your video. So those aspects are driving me a bit batty right now. I've shot a lot of videos that I haven't put up because the focus just moved in and out too badly. It was too annoying to watch, or the framing was terrible. So basically, it would be a lot better if I could see myself while I'm shooting. That's just the way it is. So let's see, battery life on this camera. As I've been using it for the last 4 months, I've been shooting a lot of photographs and a lot of video. I'm not quite sure how much video time I can get before I have to start replacing batteries. I haven't run one dry yet. I don't tend to shoot really long clips, so maybe that's part of it. But the battery life is not great. It's pretty horrendous. Now, if you add the vertical grip as I have on here, that does give you a second battery, which doubles your battery life, and that makes it much, much, much more usable. So I would highly recommend using the vertical grip if you're going to be doing a lot of shooting out and about, so that you're not constantly switching batteries. With the vertical grip, it seems like I can get about 600 shots before I need to replace both batteries. And that's very respectable. I'm just not sure how much video I can get out of it, so maybe I'll do a test and see how long of a video I can shoot till it just quits. A lot of people complain about the video clip length. Now, I believe it's been up to 30 minutes on this camera. It might still be 15, but I believe it's been up to 30. What people don't realize is that doesn't mean at 30 minutes the camera's going to stop taking video. It continues continuously taking video as long as you want it to, as long as it doesn't overheat. So what happens? Well, what happens is when it reaches that time limit, it makes a clip and saves it to your memory card while it continues shooting on a second clip. And if you go past the time on that second clip, it'll make it into a clip and then continue shooting on a third clip. All you have to do is import those into your video editing software, and it's going to be seamless. You won't notice that there were extra clips there, and you're going to cut those up anyway. So I'm not sure why people are bothered by clip length. As far as I'm concerned, it could be 5-minute clips or 3-minute clips, and as long as it's continuous, I don't care. So let's see, fast workflow for editing. It's been wonderful for workflow in every program that I've tried it in, and I have tried it in Capture One, Lightroom, Photoshop, DaVinci, and iMovie. I've used it in all 5 of those programs and have had zero problems, zero hiccups. The only issue that I did have was when I was shooting using my cell phone as my controller using the Fuji app. If I shot video that way, and then imported it, for some reason it was always importing as 720 instead of 1080p, and maybe that's something to do with the old app. I haven't tried it with the new version of the app that came out in March, because I've kind of been scared off of doing that. I don't want to put out 720 videos, although this one's probably going to be 720 because I'm using the little camera on my 2012 MacBook Pro. So the video is not great this time, and I apologize for that, guys. But let's see, just the fact that it's working so well in all of the editing software that I've tried it in, I've been very happy with that. The biggest issue for me so far is just that HDMI output. If I could figure that out, if anyone knows a secret or knows a program that you can shoot video with live view on your screen, let me know, because I want to try that out. I checked in Capture One with the Fuji module, and it would allow me to shoot photographs using it as tethered, but the video option was not allowed. So I know it is allowed on the X-T2, just not on the X-T1. So it must be something in the hardware, the way that it's wired, unless there's just something I'm missing. And if there's a setting in the settings, please, please, please let me know. But what does all this mean? It means that so far I've been super pleased with the quality of the images, the quality of the video, the ease of use, the fun nature of the feel of the camera in your hands, the way that it makes you want to get out and do some shooting. I've just been in love with all of that. It's phenomenal. But that being said, I may have to move into the X-T2 camera system. I've been taking a look at it on eBay, and it is entering into that $400 price range. I've seen a few for $439 buy it now. I've seen a few for $500 buy it now with a make offer option. So I think you could pick one of these up right around $400 for the X-T2 if you did some good shopping on eBay and get a good example of it. So if I can figure one of those out, if I can find one of those, I'll probably end up picking one up. I'm also keeping an eye on the pricing. As I told you guys previously on the X-T20, it hasn't dropped enough yet for me to be interested in picking one up. But it's getting down to the 450, 400 range. Once it gets down to the 350 range, I'll definitely be interested and probably grab one of those. But really, that's it for today. I just want to give you guys an update, let you know I'm still loving the camera system. I still highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you don't need any of the things that are bothering me, I think it would be a phenomenal camera system for you. It's still a phenomenal camera system for me. There's just a couple of things here or there that I would change if I could. And unfortunately, it costs money to do that, and I am cheap. I like to spend as little as possible to get the best quality output. And I feel like we have done that here with the X-T1 so far this year. So we'll have to see what the future of this year brings and what the pricing looks like on those other cameras to see if I actually end up bringing one of those in. I think my next purchase, though, is going to be the Godox flash system with the on-camera trigger. I think it's called the X1T. Oddly enough, that's called the X1TF for Fujifilm, and that looks like a great little setup. I'm trying to decide between the 3 different flash options that they have, and I'm probably going to go with the middle option. I think it's the 695 or 685, something like that. Get that for about $150, and hopefully be able to use that with the TTL options when I'm using the Fuji lenses, and in manual when I'm using my manual lenses, and get the type of quality output that I'm hoping for. So we'll see. I'll update you guys when I get those. I'll give you some unboxing videos and first impression videos, and then post up some examples. Hopefully you guys are all having a great day, and thanks for sticking around. Sorry about the delay in getting out a new video. It has been a very hectic month. Last month was very crazy, and this month so far has also been very crazy. I'm in the process of moving my business, which is where I'm shooting at right now, and we'll have to see how that all goes. So I'll get up a video for you guys as soon as I can. Thanks for sticking around. Make sure, if you enjoy the video, make sure that you subscribe and make sure that you click the notification button. And please, 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 if nothing else, just hit that like button. That helps me out. It helps spread the video so that other people can find it. And it's just one way of doing me a solid if you like the videos. So thanks, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.